In this video, we will talking about how to configure AD domain SSO authentication. To use the AD SSO, you need to have a Microsoft Active Directory server, which also called LDAP server. Sangfor and NGAF support three types of SSO method. First, script SSO. When the domain users log into their PC, the domain script will auto-executed. Second, domain SSO. NGAF will automatically detect the login event log from the AD server. Last, IWA SSO. PC will be auto-authenticate when the user trying to browse a website. There are total 4 steps to complete the SSO configuration. First, connect LDAP server to NGAF. Second, configure one or all SSO method. To increase the SSO success rate, you can configure all the SSO type. Third, configure SSO authentication policy. Last, prepare a domain PC for testing, but this is optional. Next, I will show you how to connect NGAF to LDAP server. Go to Authentication System. External Authentication Server. Click on Add. Select LDAP server to create an authentication server. Enter the server name. Configure LDAP server IP address. By default port 389 will be used. Select base DN. If NGAF able to communicate with LDAP server, base DN details will be displayed. Else, it will show nothing. Enter the domain administrator account and password. For the attribute section, you can leave it as default. Click Test Validity. The results show connected successfully. Click OK to save the policy. How to configure script SSO. Go to Option. Enable the client-side domain SSO option. Tick the first option to enable script SSO. Configure a shared key. Click OK to save the configuration. Next, download the domain SSO program and copy to the AD server. Extract the slogin tools zip file. You will get a login and logoff script. Open Group Policy Management. Go to Default Domain Policy. Click Edit. Go to User Configuration, Policies, Windows Settings, and Scripts. Click on Logon. Add. Browse. Now, drag the logon script into the logon folder. For the script parameter, enter the NGAF IP address, port 1775 and shared key. Click OK to save it. Next, click on Logoff. Add. Browse. Drag the logoff script into logoff folder. Just fill in the NGAF IP address. Click OK. There is a hint. Use GP update command to let the group policy update immediately. How to configure domain SSO. Tick the domain SSO option. Click Add. Enter the domain DNS server IP address. Enter the domain name. Click Domain Name Resolution. The domain name IP address will show below. Configure the administrator account and password. Click Test Validity and the results show success. Click OK to save the configuration. Next, need to enable Audit Logon event on the AD server. Open Local Security Policy. Go to Local Policy, Audit Policy. Click on both Audit Logon events and tick Success. Check on the last obtained to prove NGAF able to obtain logon event log from AD server. How to configure IWA SSO. Tick Enable Integrated Windows Authentication. Enter a computer name, domain name, DNS server IP address. Configure the administrator account and password. Click Test Validity and the results show successful. Click OK to save the configuration. How to configure SSO authentication policy. To use the SSO, you are required to configure SSO authentication policy. Go to Policy. Enable User Authentication. Select the LAN zone as Authentication Zone. Click Add. Enter policy name. Configure the IP address range. Select the second SSO method. User will go for password authentication when SSO failed. New users will assign to root group by default. You may configure a user sync policy to synchronize the add user group to local device. For concurrent login and bind IP or MAC, you may configure according to the need. Click OK. How to test whether SSO works. First, I will show you how to test script SSO. Enable script SSO and click OK. In order to make SSO take effect, log in using AD domain account. Next, I will show you the testing of domain SSO. Enable domain SSO and click OK. Log in using AD domain account. Check on last obtained to ensure NGAF able to obtain latest event log. Next, I will show you the testing of IWA SSO. Enable IWA SSO and click OK. After login to the AD domain user account, open a browser to browse a HTTP website. For example www.baidu.com. Please bear in mind, to test IWA SSO, you are required to browse a HTTP website, not HTTPS. After the testing, we need to check the online user status. Go to Status, Online User. Server type is showing SSO, which means user authenticates by SSO successfully. In the end of this tutorial, precautions will be listed below. Use AD domain user account to log in PC. AD server and NGAF system time must consistent. Script SSO using port 1775. IWA SSO required to browse HTTP website.